I'm sure that you have probably seen what I have seen. Times when you may be out someplace in a store or something and you overhear a parent just railing upon a child and saying, "You stupid," or whatever. And if you're like me, when I hear something like that, it just cuts me to the quick. Because I'm thinking to myself, think about what you are implanting in the heart of that child. You say to that child, "Well, you're stupid." Or if you say to a child, "Well, you're ugly," can you imagine how that is going to deal with the self-esteem of that person? And I've seen this, I've heard it, I've witnessed it, and I thought to myself, I said, Mom and Dad, do you just not have the ability to think and think about how that is affecting your child and that child's development as they go through life? You see, life is hard enough as it is. We all deal with self-esteem issues. We deal with how we're going to approach life. We deal with the fears and the anxieties of life. We all deal with these things. We don't need somebody piling on and tempering us in such a way to where if we had any self-esteem, it just went down and out the window because somebody just said something to me with no heart, no feeling, and no even consideration about how that's going to affect me in the future. And so we have these ghosts of the past. So oftentimes it comes back to haunt us in our lives down the road. So again, I think about these things. I think, well, how is this going to affect a person or a child? And it makes me think about how we use this instrument called the mouth and the tongue. And do we use it as an instrument of peace and joy and to the general welfare of our fellow citizen, or we do it to a place to where we have harm? Unfortunately, the reason why people use their mouth as an instrument of cruelty is because they themselves have experienced somebody else using their mouth as an instrument of cruelty. This is the way they've seen it. This is the way they've been trained. This is the way that it's been exemplified to them. And so for some reason or another, they reason in their minds, well, it must be okay. But would you not think about how those things have affected your life? And some of the bitterness that you deal with, some of the self-esteem issues that you deal with, they were implanted in you because of somebody else's words, maybe even years ago. So I'm bringing this out today because I have a great understanding of how important it is that we choose our words wisely and that we have an awareness of our own heart's condition before we spew it out to someone else, not even being concerned about where all that's going to land and how it's going to affect our fellow citizen down the road. It's Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.